You know the expression? You know the expression? They come after us from every angle. They're after us. And we're here, and they're not. Here I am like an idiot.
Hi, how you guys doing? Oh, I mean, how are those of you that haven't been kicked off an entire network for no particular reason? Yeah, good times. And we'll be back. Don't worry, at Twitch at some point, I think. But please subscribe on YouTube. Always be part of the backup solution, I think is what I'm asking of all of you. If you use Facebook at all, follow the Facebook page. If you use YouTube at all, subscribe on YouTube. Twitter's kind of a waste of time across the board. As soon as I find a more a simpler way of poking bears, and not how some of you wish I meant, I will be fine. I will be moving on from there as well. But Twitter. Whatever. Twitch will be back at some point, we hope. And it's good that I have that as an option. Hold on one second. There we go. I forgot to turn on my side lights because I was so caught up in the whole fucking. But I would like to say for the record that we're doing okay. We're here. We're covered. You know, that's the thing.
You know the expression? You know the expression? They come after us from every angle. They're after us. And we're here, and they're not.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, some people will say I was attacked by TYT haters. Maybe so. Some people will say that it was just CNN blocking everybody because they wanted to squeeze all the ratings out of that shit they could. That's possible as well. Although fair use. Everything I do is fair use. I am on screen at all times. Fair use. My reactions are a part of the entire thing. Fair use. There is no way that anything I put on my channel is a one-to-one substitute for the thing that I am showing. I see people all the time. We see this shit happen. The other day when like Aaron Mate was filling in for Jimmy Dore, he played the Trump video and just sat there as it didn't say a fucking thing. Just played it. He's seen it before, so he wanted you to see it without any interruptions. So I got news for you. They can fucking go see it at his channel if they want to see it uninterrupted. These are commentary channels. It's what I do. And that's why, by the way, I am on goddamn screen all the time in my stuff. It is exactly the purpose of it. It's also one of the reasons why I don't necessarily have that situation where I'm like some of these other YouTubers and streamers like Destiny and others make themselves really fucking tiny in the window. I don't understand that at all, because aren't you watching like we're here together? I should be human size for the most part, as big as I can be. I mean, what am I gonna do? This is as big as I can be. That said, it is yes, and I need to rebuild the satire picture. That's absolutely true. Hold on one second. I will let's see, we'll go into here, and because now you're making me nervous. We'll do this, and then we'll go move this over here. I'm just gonna do some work while I'm talking, while you guys are here, because you're awesome. There we go. And we make that, and I feel like we'll go, where should we go? Arial black, can't go wrong with that. It's pretty goddamn big. And then, any of racism, okay. Click on that part of it, like it. And then, let's see. Should we transform it? Text transform, uppercase, nope. Okay, we'll make a gradient out of it. I like that idea. For the thing, gradient color should be selected colors. What should the gradient color be? Gradient color should probably be a darker gray something thing, I think. Okay, there we go. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll turn it down a little bit, put it like this, make it pretty, and then we'll outline it. I like that. Oh, and it's the opacity's very low. That's very strange. Why would the opacity be off on this strange thing? Dude knew. Gradient opacity is one thing, but the gradient direction, that's fine. Background colors, nothing. But actually, you know what? Fuck that. I like the see-through aspect of it. I take it back. Yeah, that's gonna work for me. And then we'll take this, and because then you can see me through it, which is this is, you know, there you go. How about this? I'll just put this on the fucking screen the whole time. The next time I do a Trump anything or anything from CNN, I'm going to put this up on screen over top of it. Fuck them. I like the kind of glass see-through-ish mistiness of it. I'm going to go with that. God damn it. And then, here's the cool part. Then we go over to here, and I open up my Stream Deck, and let's see, which deck should it be? Should be on this one. Should be on the little one over to my right. And I will go to the little Stream Deck 2. Yep, that little guy. And then in that, I will go to OBS, stuff. I'm just doing this while the work is happening. Fuck it. If I'm going to be attacked, I'm taking you guys along for the ride. Let's see, where'd it go? Navigation, soundboard, stream. That's where are you, OBS? You're down here. But where'd you go? I'm just not seeing it. Hold on. I have to close the windows because there's too many goddamn windows open, and it makes it all crazy. And we'll close that one, and then we close the system one. And there's Twitter. Here it is. OBS Studio. Excellent. And then we go to source visibility. Excellent. And then we name it satire, so I know what the button does. And then I choose the scene, which would be, in this particular case, all of them, but I'll do it on the comms one mainly. Yeah, do it on comms. And, and I have to do this. I got to take this, I copy this. Excellent. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to go to my comms. I'll still be able to see you lovely people. Hi. Because this is where I will use it the most. I will use it on this screen. And then I'll go here. Paste. Duplicate. There we go. See that guy right there? Then I go back over to here. And I choose Badar. I got to redo this. Choose me. And then I'll go back to it. And then I choose this. I go to this guy. And now, if I do this here, I have a button over here that I can now, God damn it. Satire, 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 satire. We're good. Okay. How can they tell if it's satire if it's not announced? I know, exactly. I'm just, yes. Because we have to tell them, because sometimes they are stupid people. So, also, I'll make a subscribe that does the exact goddamn thing. So, we'll go back to this guy for these as well. I just had an even better idea, but I'll make that later. We're good for now, because I don't need it. Because those yes, that's why. Because those weren't real farts. They believed that I was cheating my audience. They were personally disgusted. All right. Anyways, welcome. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, folks. What's going on? Okay. I'm Hal Sparks, man about town. I wanted to start the show off with a thank you, if I may. Can I do that as well? Because it's taken my ass a long time to get some of my mail from LA. And in that was a CD and a book called The Salt Fix from Brian Henry. And I wanted to say a thank you, Brian Henry, for the book and the CD. And then I also got, because of this was a message from a while back, Allison sent some nail polish because I'm a dude who paints his nails because I'm butch as fuck. And she sent me a couple of different ones. This one, some of them, I believe, this one's yellow. I'm sure, yes. Just, since I was kicked off of friggin' Twitch. I'm just gonna enjoy when people are nice to me. Damn it. She sent a yellow, which is, by the way, the same color as my yellow symbol patch. The spark symbol. It's this yellow. So whenever I wear the yellow patch and I'm wearing nail polish, I will wear that one. She sent some black, which is really good. If you're a musician and you play live on stage, black nail polish is your friend, especially on your left hand. Well, if you're right-handed anyways, because you can paint your nails and you can see the tips of your fingers better if you need to, when you're fretting. And it's just when you do a reference look at your hand in flashing lights and shit that's happening on, if you can isolate the tips of your fingers, it's really helpful. So black nail polish helps. And then there's green in case I want to lose my my nails in the woods. Although it's kind of it's a more muted green color and stuff. So anyways, thank you, Allison. And yeah. And that was very lovely. Also, Robert Brunswick, I got your package as well, and I will forward that to the shirt to Johnny Million. All right. That's right. I'm now doing AMSR and unboxing. That's right. Just all right. So, lots to cover today. Yes, DIY finger hack for guitar players. It's what I do. Now, shit. All right. You know, when you have tough days, and in this business, I got to tell you, folks, I got to tell you, folks, sometimes it's a hard job. It's not, I'm not going to say that I'm like, laying pipe, huh? Or, working on a railroad or picking up a pickaxe or something like that. No, I understand that there's hard labor, but then some other ways, sometimes the job is hard. You know what I mean, Scylla? It's hard on you. And sometimes, it's just tough. You're just trying to, get up and do the best job, and you want to be good to people, and thank you very much, and say thank you very much. And it's difficult. But then there's so you got to be able to answer that difficulty with an instant laugh. Something that makes you laugh, something that makes you have a good time, something that makes you smile, something that puts a derp on your face. Ladies and gentlemen, the gift that keeps on giving, the man with the stupidest face in media. I don't understand. Okay, Trump and his ilk, first of all, they're always clamoring about their manly men and their manlies, right? They're all manly men with, powerful guts. Woof. Flabby man boobies, saggy skin, generally looking kind of shitty. Trump can't bench press 100 pounds to save his life. If he was trying to get a kid's bookshelf off of himself, he couldn't do it. He would need help from a kid. And yet there's all this like, we're manly man, right? And then he goes and hires this guy to be the face of Truth Social, to be the brains behind, or lack thereof, behind Truth Social. And fucking hell, he cannot not have this derp face when they introduce him. It's not possible. Like, we've seen him so many times. Doesn't matter, the subject could be something terrible has happened, and it automatically, they go, we bring on the show Devin Nunes, and he every fucking time. Every time. I mean, just the middle manager of middle managers at the outlet version of the going out of business managerial store. Just, it's perfect. You cannot, congrats on their entire new graphics package at OAN. I guess they got some new subscribers, so they're going all in on buying. I believe I'm trying to think. There is a company that sells these graphics packages, and a real network like mine wouldn't be caught dead using off the rack news graphic backgrounds and shit. But not these assholes. They go straight with the demo version. So, until then, I'm kidding. That's brilliant. I think it's completely fine. All right. I'm going to get way too much use out of that.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Oh, come on. Don't say that. Now, so we hear if the noises that come out of his face are as dumb as the face he's making. I think so.
Our first guest tonight knows all too well this playbook, seeing as he was instrumental in unraveling the original Russia hoax.
Jesus Christ. Get the fucking Medal of Freedom for sneaking intel over to Trump in the middle of the night. Just like, thanks for being a shit op.
Against President.
It's probably the only time in his life he hasn't made the derp face.
Trump.
Yes, totally, it's Envato. Somebody who said Envato in the chat room. Somebody just said that. God damn it. Bless your heart. I think you're right. Hold on. Who said it first? Who was that? Itchy Chinny Kojak. Yes, absolutely. I think it's Envato. I think you're right. I thought it might have been Canva, but I'm pretty sure it's Envato that they stole their graphics from. Okay, here we go.
And his supporters before, during, and after the 20.
CI solicited signatures for Hunter Biden laptop letter from people who genuinely believe it. And they almost had too many for the fucking letter. And
2016 election. Joining us now to discuss is Devin Nunes, the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee and now the CEO of Truth Social. Devin, thanks for being here tonight.
Hufford. Just sorry. Every fucking time. It's somebody else has to fucking work there at Truth Social and go, Devin, come here, bud. Dude, come here. Do us all a favor. The next time you're on a show, and from that point forward, when they introduce you, don't smile. Whatever you do, just don't smile. Since you can't smile without looking like a complete asshat, just don't. Just don't. Do not. Why? Just trust me on this. I don't give a fuck what. You just lean in with one eyebrow. Just don't.
Oh, Karis, I'm honored to be with you.
So great. It's nice to be on Pleasant Valley High School's own real newsroom.
Love your show.
Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate it.
Hold on. She looks like she's 12. Don't say I love your show to someone who looks 12. Just that's the other thing too, especially with that the evil Mr. Bean. He's like Mr. Bean with a shellfish allergy. Mr. Bean, when he didn't know he was allergic to strawberries as he ran through a strawberry patch. It looks like he's talking about he watches a high school television program all the time. Really love you guys. I watch Dance Party USA every Saturday. Just me alone with a beer and some tissue.
Everything. I mean, as you know, I've been following your career for a while now.
Yes, to both places. It's great. I've been following your career for a while now, which is why I'm in a cul-de-sac.
Love everything that you were able to bring to light, especially at a time when so many were afraid and they thought, well, you know, the FBI, they wouldn't be going this hard after Trump unless they had a kernel of evidence. Turns out there was never any there.
No, there was a lot of there. There was so much there that Bill Barr had to stop the Mueller investigation from looking through Rosenstein, from looking into Trump's finances. They were not even allowed to look at his finances, not even his taxes, just any of his financial dealings. It was off limits so that they could eliminate the motive. Therefore, they could limit the power of the possibility of an indictment, even if they didn't do the indictment themselves.
And so following the unraveling of this now apparent CIA plot to boost Biden in 2020 and
unraveling, he's in office, dumb fuck. If it was a plot, it worked, and it's not.
To diminish President Trump, it must have you.
Yes, this is OAN. This is Orange Ape Network or Orange Asshole Network or Orange Asshole Nudnik or Orange whatever orangutan Ass Network, whatever.
Feeling like a case of deja vu.
Mr. Refried Bean, really? No.
Who would you say?
This is actually more shocking than it's getting credit for.
Then it's not shocking. It's not. If people aren't shocked, then it's not shocking. I don't know about you, but if you're talking about emotional descriptives one of the prime things that is required is that it elicits that actual emotion. Like, this is scarier than you think. Well, apparently not, because I've been thinking about it and I'm not scared. You see how that works? Jesus Christ.
For a long time, the CIA has been kind of unscathed through a lot of the domestic issues.
First of all, that's because they don't deal with domestic issues. Secondly, unscathed, the CIA is the single biggest cinematic bad guy on fucking Earth. There is never, ever any good CIA news, even when it happens. Because, quite frankly, their successes are secret. Their failures are public. Their successes are secret because they have to lead to more successes, and they're trying. And the fact that most of us are alive right now are probably predicated on at least one thing that a CIA agent had to do at some point, but you never heard about it. But the CIA gets more bad press. I mean, if you ask the right people, the CIA is singularly responsible for every war on the planet. Every one of them. There are people that if you talk to them, they won't even bat an eye. They'll just go, yeah, of course they are. Yeah, the CIA put this. Yeah, of course. CIA, because military industrial, of course, they just control everything. They start every war because we need wars. Otherwise, our economy would not pay out the money for the war of the thingamachine. All the fucking time. All the time.
They managed to stay out of it. You know, all of my dealings with them, especially the people that worked abroad in very difficult situations.
Yeah, the people who work abroad in very difficult situations aren't currently in the United States and therefore inside the borders of the United... Fucking hell.
They had the support of the American people. They had the support of the Congress. But as you said, you know, whether it is just a few deep staters or...
Oh, fuck off. Oh, here we go. It's like, all right, real quick, just so we set some base rules. If you say deep state or establishment in real conversation or to shore up one of your points, we all know going forward that we are dealing with a stupid person. We are dealing with a moron. We are dealing with someone who that is forever intellectually, ethically, morally, and psychosexually in the shallow end of the pool, wearing waders, claiming they're a deep sea diver. There is no deep state. There is no establishment. This is just a fucking James Bond word for bureaucracy by lazy people who want our government to shut down if their guy isn't there. Shut the fuck up. Deep state is the X-Files. Yes, that's true. That's as real as the deep state gets. I just, oh, God.
Or if it's a broader problem, this for sure implicates the CIA directly.
Yes, the CIA is involved in trying to get Joe Biden, a Democrat, elected because of how Democrats have traditionally been towards the military-industrial complex versus the Republicans. Fuck.
And I just can't believe, I mean, I think the key point of that Federalist story this morning is that there was an actual current CIA employee who did this.
What? A CIA employee did something that they were like, hey, we're being attacked by stuff from outside the country. People might want to keep their eyes open for this and, about this because it's affecting our elections. And that person still works in the CIA? Good. Good, fucko. No one questions that there was a foreign influence scheme going on. No one. The hard drive that Rudy Giuliani brought back from Ukraine was sold to him by Russians. Period. End of fucking story. There is no Hunter Biden laptop. There are 416 gigabytes of shit on the hard drive he's been peddling. The model of the laptop that was supposedly dropped off has a maximum of available capacity of 256 gigabytes. It's not fucking possible. And he never said he got John Paul McIsaac. Hey, couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup. And he said he didn't even get all the data off there. So it's even less material was taken off that hard drive, supposedly, when it was passed on. And it ended up with 416 gigs of stuff in folders that included, like, compromising videos. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Look, and I've been saying this for a long time. The 51 spies who lie should not
Yeah, you should put that in quotes, fuckhead.
hold any position in government.
Oh, like you. I see. I'm sorry. Guy who lost his job in government says what?
And should never hold a security clearance again. And so,
Because you're never going to hold a security clearance again, and neither does your boss. So that's what you're mad about?
so I applaud that this is good work by the Republicans and my former colleagues in Congress. But
Former colleagues, you're not there. Wait a minute. Are they still after me?
But
Yes.
sadly,
the derp state is still after me. It's true.
it just, you peel back the onion and you just find more rot and corruption. And this is
Yeah, that's not how that analogy works at all.
absolute corruption. It's a major black eye for the CIA, and I don't know, where this is going to lead. I mean, are there?
I don't know. It's led you to a guest spot on a high schooler's afternoon project show for Pleasant Valley High's newsroom, home of Wildcats basketball and home of the Fighting Otters.
There could be contamination here.
Yes, contamination. Yep. Mission creep even. Yeah. Apparently, I don't know if you noticed this, like, it got so bad that Biden is actually the commander-in-chief right now. He can actually order those organizations around. These guys put him in charge of themselves.
And it is so, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, this is happening under Gina Haspel. Doesn't mean that she knew exactly what was going on. I'm not trying to say necessarily to implicate her, but
well, why stop? Why? I mean, it didn't stop him. I mean, it doesn't matter. No one's really listening. Honest to God. Is anyone pivoting on what Devin Nunes says? I mean, welcome to the potato. Well, I know potatoes are sort of useful. The parsley sprigs are good too, because the parsley's actually necessary. It helps your breath, actually. That's why they put parsley at the end of, on a meal. So you eat the parsley and it helps your breath after you've eaten something. I'm trying to think of the most useful. He's I'll tell you what it is. He's when they bring over that basket of bread and they've got the really funky breads, like the crispy breads with like onion on it, and they've got the pieces of like roasted sourdough that's got manchego cheese melted on it or something, and then there's just in it magically there's one of those rolls from Kroger's. You know what I'm talking about? Like in this big thing of very fancy breads that they bring to a table at a restaurant, there's always one Kroger roll. He's the Kroger roll, brought late in the meal.
all I'm saying is even under a Trump appointee, you can have an agency that, again, assuming all.
Even under a Trump appointee, motherfucker, that's what he was trying the whole time. He was, why the fuck do you think he gave this dickhead a medal? He was stacking all those organizations with sycophants who would follow orders, and he still couldn't get them to do it.
These emails and letters that we're getting now from the committee are indeed accurate, and everything is, we understand it all.
No, the emails and letters getting from the committee are not the emails and letters from the actual fucking people. You're getting memos from the committee, Republican committee members, about other people's letters. This is like, again, this is like espionage if it was a game of telephone.
That the idea that this agency was soliciting these signatures for a letter to help one candidate at the expense.
Or to warn the American public that this was an active attack on our electoral process. Genuinely.
Of another during the.
It's like they just brought him on fresh.
2020 presidential election. I mean, with friends like that, quote unquote. I mean, you don't even need enemies at this point. I mean, is that? You
don't at this point. Yeah, I think that's how the statement goes.
That's something that you find time and time again. That as we talk about the deep state, I know it's maybe become a joke at this point.
Yes, you have. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. She stumbled on it. This is the face of a man who's just been told his entire argument is a joke. That's what happens. There it is. She just accidentally did it. And to have a high school student do it to you, that's rude. She's not really. I think she's in her late 20s or something like that. She's a host on OAN, for real. Just to clarify, I should clarify, she's not really a high school student. Just saying. But yes, the deep state is a joke. The concept of a deep state is a joke. You have a functioning government that transitions between the leadership but takes orders from the leadership. And it has to exist. You can't swap everybody like it's... there used to be this joke about communists in general that you see in the old Warner Brothers cartoons where the coyote and the dog were fighting, and then the whistle blows, and they, like union workers, they go and punch out and see you tomorrow, because they don't really care. They'll fight and fight and fight, but as soon as it ends, as soon as the bell rings, they're done, because they're not emotionally invested, because they can't be. It's odd to me, because that's an attack on the communism through unionization. That's been an ongoing thing. It's amazing to me that the Republicans, in pushing this whole deep state establishment concept, which, by the way, we established, form of great, okay. We'll get to the establishment conversation later. But the deep state idea being that that at the end of somebody's presidency or term or whatever, that everybody doesn't just drop what they're doing at their fucking desk and walk off, because it would be chaos. It would be useless. If you got a new sheriff and all right, we need all new deputies. Everybody go out and we'll bring in new people, and we're just going to rotate people through, and everybody's just going to be forced into a government job at some point because we have to have the throughput, and God forbid somebody gets impeached and removed from office because everybody in the federal government out. And tomorrow morning, new people come in, and we'll figure, and you guys can't tell them how your job works at all. Deep state, get the fuck out of here.
To kind of use the term deep state, but we shouldn't lose the severity of what that actually means.
You have. The shark is laughing at being jumped at this point.
Even if you're the president, you appoint somebody.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Look, I think the most important issue at the highest level here is the corruption within the Department of Justice, and we.
That wasn't a concern when Trump tried to get Jeff Sessions to be his own personal Roy Cohn, and then he put Bill Barr in there. Bill Barr wrote a summary of the Mueller report, which was a lie, to hide the collusion that was in the Mueller report, and that didn't bother you then. You were running reports and stuff back and forth from Republican Congress people and intel to try to give inside scoops on the impeachment against Trump in the first place, and helping him out under the radar instead of being a part of a separate branch of government. That didn't bother you. That wasn't a problem. Now it's a problem because Merrick Garland is taking his fucking sweet time.
Know that the FBI is rotten to the core.
Fuck you. The last FBI agents to die in the line of duty, insofar as I know, I don't think there's been any since Biden's been in office, died arresting a child pornographer in Florida under the Trump administration. Were those people rotten to the core? Fuck you.
That we've known. That we proved.
That we've known. We have known. Great. It's so he's been taking word pronunciation classes from Trump.
Again, the words are conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Columbus, Christopher, huh?
Back in the day, back in 2017 and 18, and it's only gotten worse and worse and worse as the act.
You mean it was bad when Trump took over and it got worse? Gee, fish stinks from the head, right?
Activities of the FBI. I think what's important about this is that this is the first time that you've got the CIA, a sitting member, not, you got the 51 spies who lied. Those are former people. This is somebody that's sitting there, as I understand it, still works there to this day. And now I go back, and I read the story this morning, and I haven't had a lot of time to talk to my former colleagues.
Really? They're not taking your call immediately? I'm shocked. People don't pick up ooh, Devin Nunes is on the phone. No, honey, please. We can table this conversation for another time. Family planning is a big decision. That's not the important part. Devin Nunes is calling me right now. Hold on one second, if I may. Hello? Oh, hi, Devin. Yes. Deep state. Yep. I'm standing in front of the window right now. I'm looking for the deep state and the establishment. Yep. Establishment rhinos. Yes. I was kind of going generally for an establishment thing, but I will tailor my scope to put blinders on and focus on those establishment rhinos who are part of the deep state. Yes, who are also part of the deep state. Now, the deep state establishment, you'd have to be established to be in the deep state, right? Is there a shallow state of anti-establishment? There isn't. You're sure? Okay, I was just checking. I mean, I can tell you're smiling because I can hear the through the phone. Hey, can you tell me that? Do me a favor. Tell me the story of Trump giving you the medal again. Yeah, start at the beginning.
But I think back, I know that department. And this is the department actually.
What, the children's department?
Actually clears things for the public, for public consumption. And I will tell you now that I think.
That clears, the part of the CIA that clears things for public consumption. And who might, what do you think? Warn the public if there's a fucking threat? Of course that's them, dumb shit.
Think back about it to the time when we were investigating the Russia hoax and the Ukraine impeachment hoax.
You mean the two things he was impeached over that he actually deserved it for, and the only reason he wasn't kicked out of office by his own party was because they ran interference for him? By the way, the very same people he calls rhinos and in some cases tried to get them killed. Weird.
They were a royal pain. And now what I think is that they had that all controlled by deep state bureaucrats. And
oh, fuck. He's trying to double dip now. Deep state bureaucrats. Are there temp bureaucrats? This is how fucking lazy this shit is.
All those people in there should be immediately removed and suspended.
Why? So America can have no intelligence community because Trump feels pressured by his own criminality? How about fuck you? How about national security actually being important, dumbass?
And hopefully my Republican colleagues will push for that. I'm guessing.
No.
We're just at the beginning of this.
No, you guessed wrong. You're at the ass end of this. People are getting sick of it. Chuck Grassley even had to come out and go, I don't even know if this is true. We don't know if this is true or untrue. And motherfucker, it's been 3 years. You can't be nowhere. You have to be somewhere. Well, it depends on the literal versus somebody asked in the chat. Is it true that you can't be nowhere? You have to be somewhere. Nowhere can be an actuality, and it can be a matter of opinion. You can be in the matter of opinion, and you can be somewhere that is nowhere. Does that help? But enough about Idaho.
Like I said, Kara, I dealt with these people, and now that I think back to it, they were involved in some really corrupt stuff back in the day when we.
Back in the day. Remember, yeah, this is how long it's been since this asshole thinks the Trump era was. Back in the day. Back in the day. It was fucking 3.5 years ago, dipshit. Back in the day? The fuck? That was your day. And here's the even sadder part. That was your day? That was, well, I mean, I guess that's when he got his medal for being basically a shadow cabinet member.
We're trying to get information out to the public.
Oh, yeah. And what's happening is you're getting broomed off by OAN's bumper music. He goes, that's not flattering. They're going to end with his face looking like that, black and white. Devin, OAN hates you. They come to you live when you have the derpiest of faces. They could wait till she's done with her intro of you, and where you're sitting there like this, and then wait for your face to settle before cutting to you. But they don't. They jump right on it. They wait until you've got the derpiest face, and then they have you write it out the entire time she's introing you. And you're on OAN, dude. I have more people in my chat than they do. And that's a multi-million-dollar organization. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like and subscribe, please, because we need all the help we can get. We got kicked off Twitch. Hopefully that will be remedied soon. But one of the reasons why I'm on I stream in multiple places is because I don't trust any of them. So patreon.com/HalSparks helps the show exist, even if at some point I have to set up my own video server in an underground bunker in Oregon or some shit. But like, subscribe. You can also support the show through Venmo, because I have had depending on what happens with Twitch, a third of my income destroyed. Yeah, a third of it just sliced the fuck off in an afternoon. So any help is welcome. Yeah. Oh, and yes. So I'm fine. And quite frankly, I'm for the record, I'm in better shape than these dickheads, which is good. You know what I mean? You gotta count your blessings. Now, it's always hard to choose what to do next, because I never run out of derp. There is always plenty to derp around on. Now, one of the things I do want to address is the Hunter Biden allegations. Now, the Republicans are mad now and will continue to be mad for a very long time, because their October surprise, or their lame attempt at one with the Hunter Biden laptop bullshit, failed miserably. It was a failure. It was to benefit a man in the form of Donald Trump, who is a lifelong fuck up, who was born rich and still screwed it up. Yeah, do you know what a loser you have to be to fuck up that much money? Right. To get it. And Trump is such a loser that he became president of the United States, and it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. That's fucked up. That's bad. I'm just saying. So, it's interesting. They're very angry that the laptop did not amount to a hill of beans, and their October surprise fell on its face. And the story they tell themselves that 17% or now 23% of Democrats would have voted for Trump or not at all had they known that Hunter Biden smokes in the fucking bathtub is just stupid. Thank you, Patty Ann. Oh my gosh. For the Swedish kronars. I appreciate it. So they're mad about this because it didn't work. It did not work. And it's still not working. In general, the American people don't give a fuck about Hunter Biden. And the idea the reason you're hearing so much of this is because there's no there there. They have to talk about it all the time, because you can only, the only way this is going to be a victory for them is if they trigger if there's smoke, there's fire reflex in the average person. If the average person goes, yeah, I think I heard something about this. I heard something. Yeah, it sounds like something's hinky. They want to trigger that part of it. They don't need evidence. They don't need it to be real. They don't need to indict him. They don't need it to be anything genuine. They just need to, because they'll never get a victory over even Hunter Biden in court the way E. Jean Carroll got over Trump this week, right? They know that's not going to happen. So what they've got to do is water down the Trump's rep, soften Trump's jagged edges by claiming that Biden has jagged edges, and they can only just do it by volume. And that's where this asshat comes in. This is James Comer. He's from my original home state of Kentucky and behaves exactly as you would expect. Comer is in charge of what I would call Durham 2.0 beta. Remember the Durham report that was going to solve all their problems? Remember the Trump's whole where's Durham and the Durham thing? And when Durham comes out, then they're going to show you and then that stuff. He even tried to throw in some like narrative bullshit in the things that he filed, and it all failed. It all failed. Durham's done. That's it. There's no more of that. That's just over. Never amounted to a hill of beans. Nothing happened. Comer is doing the exact same fucking thing. And here he visits one of our favorites, Maria Bartiromo. How do you solve a problem like Maria? And he tells her, he goes, Comer unveils his next demand in Biden probe after explosive findings. Well, explosive findings, please do go on. Ew. Explosive findings. I'm excited. I'm interested. You interested? I'm interested. Let's hear these explosive findings. Now, are these explosive findings going to be that some business, like international business person who was trying to get in bed with Hunter Biden or with Rosemont Seneca, made a deal with those guys and said, okay, if the deal goes through, you get 10% of this, but if it doesn't go through, there'll be $1 million retainer, and they all went, fuck yeah, sure, okay. And we get to nix anything that would violate the law or go outside of our ethics bounds. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, sure. No problem. And then this guy tried to start a business deal with a company in China. They ultimately would not open a subsidiary in the United States that was under U.S. laws. That killed the deal because Hunter Biden and the other guys in Rosemont Seneca would not participate in it. And that guy owed them $1 million. That's how it works. At that scale, that's how it works. And here's the other thing. This motherfucker knows that. All of them, before they ever ran for office because they're failed businessmen or they want to manipulate the business that they're in, get government contracts, or shift the tax code in a way that will benefit them and then run back to the private sector like Paul Ryan did. These guys either study that or surround themselves with people who talk that shit all the time. They know exactly how that works. They know exactly what those kind of contracts are like. They know exactly what those kind of pay schemes are like. And they also know that there's nothing hinky about them. They just can't get any because they suck and they're mad and they're jealous. And that's a huge part of this. And Comer wants to be Trump's VP. He thinks he's going to be the solidifying VP choice since it's not going to be DeSantis. It was never going to be Pence. And neither one of them believe that he's going to put a woman in his second position. Just no fucking way. It's not going to be Nikki Haley because she talked too much shit about him. So he thinks it's going to be him. There's a couple of those guys, and he's one of them because he thinks he's like Chunky Pence 2.0. So that's just for the record. So stay tuned. Comer unveils next demand in Biden probe after explosive findings.
And this morning, confirming what we already knew, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer laying out the Biden family's influence peddling scheme yesterday with details.
These people have received funds. Okay. None of them are Joe. Secondarily, it seems like when these guys made money, they gave some of their money to the rest of the family for other stuff, either that they owed in the form of child support or other stuff, or they gave or they invested because they got money from another deal. Meanwhile, are we going to make a list of the... Hold on. Before I even start this shit, there's one thing I need to add on top of this. Let's see. Many times the belief says, Yeah, here you go. We'll just bring this one in here. I just want to start off this conversation with a clear baseline. Okay, here you go. Alleged China fighter Donald Trump has secret Chinese bank account. Remember this one? Okay, so he paid more taxes in China than he paid in the United States, and he used the taxes he paid in China to not pay taxes in the United States. And he calls Biden Beijing Biden because it's two B's and that he thinks that's enough. And it is for some people because they're stupid. These are the same people who say establishment and deep state in genuine conversation because they are maniacs. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Trump's first year in office in 2017, that account, which had humped along with nothing in it, magically got $17.5 million in it. And Trump himself took 15 out of it immediately as like a billionaire would do. Because isn't that what billionaires do? Don't they scramble for every million? Especially when it might cost them 100 million. Nobody, right? Okay. So, yes, welcome, by the way, anybody who comes over from Twitch to Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll get Twitch restored at some point. I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Okay. Now, so the idea that these folks received funds from international business dealings, when having international business dealings is not a crime, and it's no surprise. Like the idea that Hunter Biden worked for Rosemont Seneca or that James Biden worked with international contractors, neither one of those things is a mystery at all. And the fact that both of those guys would give money to the women in their family for any reason for their own use is nobody's goddamn business. It's odd, but okay. Anyways, we'll see what they dig up. But these folks, they've received funds. None of these folks, by the way, are in a position when they receive those funds to twist Joe Biden's arm to make him act a certain way or carry out public policy on their own, just for the record.
Details of how Joe Biden and his family cashed in on policy changes and policy decisions.
Okay, so that is the closest thing to an actual accusation you'll hear from Maria Bartiromo, I think, because this is what she says. They cashed in on policy decisions and policy changes, none of which are misaligned with Obama's policy or the policies of the administration as a whole or the House or the Senate, for that matter, during Biden's time as vice president.
Committee identified at least.
And we go, specifically, you can even talk about the Ukrainian prosecutor shit, which like the entire EU and the United States, like he was literally tasked with getting rid of the fucking guy, by hook or by crook, get rid of him, whatever it takes.
$10 million sent to the Biden family from foreign nationals while Joe Biden was vice.
They just sent it to them. They just sent it.
President. And that, again, is what we know so far.
President Biden has claimed since the 2020 election that his family has not received money from China.
That's not at all what he said. No, Hunter and Rosemont Seneca got money through a Chinese business deal. There was another Chinese person who was setting up businesses, I believe in Florida, who actually went back to China and then disappeared. That was the Daniel Ho dude or whatever. And that's where Hunter Biden was like, I think that guy's a fucking spy. He's like I gotta get this guy out of my life, essentially, because the guy was like whining him and dining him, and there was all this Chinese business to be made, and everybody was kissing Chinese ass for years. I know, I was over there doing a show. Everybody bought the hype. It literally took me traveling there and standing in front of some of their green projects to go, oh my God, this is a giant lie. But up until that point, you're just like, it's nice that they're doing these things. Okay, if you want help building solar farms or something like that, yeah, that's something we do. Good. Okay, we're all on the same team. Sure, yeah. If you want my help to do it, I'll do it. That kind of stuff. And then they're like, people are like, that turns into he personally welded one of the Chinese battleships together. It's stupid.
That was a lie in 2020.
It was no. This would be a straw man or a lie that he is presenting. He's He's misrepresenting what Biden said specifically to create the illusion of a lie.
And he continues to lie to the American people.
Joining me right now is the man himself. He is Kentucky Congressman, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer. Mr.
Yes, who is currently in charge of oversight over Hunter Biden. Now, I know what you're thinking. How? Look, in the federal government, what? I mean, with all the inspector generals and stuff, what is there really to have oversight of? You know? Why do we need the government sort of reviewing and auditing things and making sure stuff functions properly? Why do you need that? You don't need that. You don't need anything even close to that. You need, somebody has to go look at it's why the Democrats insisted on setting up the Don Jr. files.
Chairman, always a pleasure. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
Well, they are very serious charges. You said that you...
No, they aren't. They are comically lazy allegations, for the record.
Identified $10 million, but then later I heard even more money. What have you been able to identify?
Yes, identify. What? It's an interesting word. Identify. Not find, not discover, not uncover. Identify. You mean by looking at tax filings that are out in the open?
Your work and in this investigation in terms of how much money the Biden family has taken in from foreign nationals.
From foreign nationals, from any person who is not a U.S. citizen. That's what they qualify as a foreign national. Not foreign governments. Not, and again, how many multinationals do members of the GOP work with? Multinationals, corporations, and who have foreign nationals as part of their boards of directors. Do we want? No? All right.
Well, we've identified through meeting with informants.
Meeting with, yes. They were just in the parking garage. The guy was smoking a cigarette behind a pylon.
Through previous investigative work by various hosts of people.
By various hosts of people. There's a lot of umming in this.
Through our trip to Treasury, we've identified
our trip to Treasury
about 20 plus shell companies that the Bidens have created.
The Trump organization has somewhere in the order of 1,500 LLCs, of which Donald Trump is the single operator or owner of or only employee of. 1,500. Amongst the entire Biden family, 20 corporations, 20 LLCs.
To launder the money they were receiving from foreign nationals down to their personal bank accounts. We've identified about 12 different banks that they were laundering this money through.
None of them were Deutsche Bank, I'm guessing. You haven't asked for Deutsche Bank's records. I just understand it's a big money laundering company, and there was, no, you're not even gonna.
What we presented yesterday was from 4 banks.
4? Oh my God.
We have 8 more banks to go, but
great. So those were your best. You're leading off with those. You led off with those 4 banks because those are like the oh my gods. So the 8s are just going to be a whimper, and the first 4 were shit.
We found is thus far $10 million that I don't think a single member of the Biden family can explain how they received.
Oh my God. Here are the names of banks where members of the Biden family have accounts. And they threw Cathay Bank on there and HSBC because of China chat. Meanwhile, don't they have like their biggest U.S. office is in Trump Tower?
Was deposited into the Biden family account. And the way they did it, the way they transferred money around is honestly why they got so many suspicious activity reports.
Because of the volume. You get those suspicious activity reports on any post 9/11, anything over $10,000
from the banks, because it's a pattern of money laundering. So
no, it isn't. Anything over $10,000 will get flagged as a suspicious transfer of funds. That's easy to say when you got lips as big as mine.
There's clearly
Biden family business. Wall Street Journal. What's that word? What is that word? I can't. It's a funny word to pronounce. Opinion. Opinium. How does it even say? It's pronounced. How do they?
Again, the words are conditions.
No, it's opinions. Something, I don't know. Anyway, we'll figure it out. From the Who? And who runs this? Who owns this? Rupert Who owns this particular? Right? And this is the Biden family business. A House report shows how Hunter and relatives profited while Joe was vice president. Cool. Anybody want to sit with me at some point in front of ChatGPT and have it write a report about how every member of Congress profited during the time Joe Biden was vice president? Can we just enjoy the lazy shape of that one? A House report shows how Hunter Biden and relatives profited while Joe was vice president. And how? Illegally? Showed how they illegally, or they unethically, or no, just how. Okay. You know what also shows it? Their tax filings.
a trail of corruption here that leads all the way to the top. I mean, why else would the Biden family be receiving this money were it not for the big guy who was vice president?
Well, because James Biden was involved in giant construction projects, and Hunter Biden worked with an investment firm that makes money on the profits from those investments. So if somebody makes profit on whatever, they get 10% of the proceeds from the profiting. And that's how investment firms make their money most of the time. Some of them, hedge fund folks, make it whether it wins or loses. They take it coming and going, right? That's how. Do these assholes think no one has a job?
And now president. And remember, Maria, the media always covered for Joe Biden and said these payments weren't made when Joe Biden was in office. They were made when he was a private citizen. We dispelled that myth yesterday.
Okay, first of all, no. No one has said that the members of the Biden family didn't make a living while he was president. He didn't receive any money. Notice he's not on that fucking list. He didn't get any money while he was vice president from any of these sources. Or this dickhead would be saying it.
Especially with respect to Romania, 16 of the 17 payments from the corrupt Romanian foreign national.
The corrupt Romanian foreign national. What would be that person's name? Because I guess, I don't know how libel laws apply when you're not a U.S. citizen.
That went to the Biden family were made while Joe
Biden
was vice president and actively involved in Romanian foreign policy.
That is.
Was Joe vice president of Romania at the same time? God damn, that guy's busy. For being that old, he gets around. It must be all the cycling.
Just incredible to me. Here's a bit of what you and your colleagues said yesterday at the press conference. Watch this.
The bank records show the Biden family, their associates, and their companies received over $10 million.
You were saying?
From foreign nationals and their companies.
From foreign nationals and their companies that they had contracts with to make actual shit or invest their money.
Some of that money came from a Chinese company and went to Hunter Biden's company.
The Bidens used their...
Okay, some of that money went from a Chinese company to a dude, and from that dude who's not Chinese to Hunter Biden's company because of a deal that he wouldn't do with that dude and the Chinese company, because the Chinese company would not set up a U.S. subsidiary, and Hunter Biden was like, that violates FARA, we're not going to do that. That's in the emails they released. He turned down the deal. But the dude, and in exchange, in that turnaround, he would have made tens of millions of dollars from that deal, allegedly. But what he ended up getting was $1 million of sorry for wasting your time money.
Associate Rob Walker to bring in millions of dollars from China and Romania.
Yes, two countries that are like this, and Romania's on top.
Walker's limited liability company, Robinson Walker LLC, paid Hunter, James, Hallie, and others in the Biden network more than $2 million after foreign money hit his account.
Well, he certainly wasn't going to pay him from an empty account, was he? It's almost like he was engaged in some sketchy shit to pay off people he owed money to.
Over the next 3 months,
or that he had promised money to or had contracted to pay on other shit.
Robinson Walker LLC sent 16 incremental payments to over 5 different Biden accounts totaling $1,065,692.
And the problem is, again, Trump got a single $17 million payment from China into his Chinese bank account and took $15 million out as soon as it hit there. Like, no intermediary. There wasn't any like Robertson LLC bullshit. He himself. He didn't even trust fucking Junior or Eric to do it, which makes sense and might show that he read his own book on occasion.
Congressman, this is incredible. You just said...
Yes, it is. It lacks credibility. It's incredible.
That you identified 20 plus shell companies. So what were they doing? Creating shell companies, LLCs, for foreign nationals to send money to, and then they got that.
Look at him nodding. Just for the record, you have no fucking idea. He has no idea. He's going to say, I predict, because of it, he's going to say the same shit they said in that presser, that he doesn't know what those companies were for or what they do. In most cases, they were either businesses that were set up as LLCs, limited liability partnerships, in particular for deals that did not go forward. And they went, fuck that. And so here's your money back, here's your investment back, or here's the sorry for wasting your time money that you were promised because you were going to be a partner in on this thing. And that's that. That's enough. And also, what did they get in exchange? Because again, China's fucked right now. And I fail to see anything where did we bend over backwards for fucking Romania during the Obama-Biden years? It's so fucking weird.
Money and distributed to Biden families to make it confusing, hard to follow?
No, it's not. It's confusing and hard to follow because it's non-existent. Because you have a cartoonish idea of how reality works, both of you, but it's confusing because it's bullshit. You are sifting through cow shit, wondering where the pudding is.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Maria.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. I have proof. You want to hear some? Here it is.
Yeah, and you know, there's a term for that. It's called racketeering. When you create companies for...
Wow, he just said racketeering on my show. Clip
For
that.
the sole purpose to hide money to try.
I thought if it's Hunter, why isn't it cracketeering? Come on, people. See how easy it is to be Greg Gutfeld? All you have to do is make jokes like that and hate yourself.
To use it in a laundering scheme. So the banks.
Yes, it is clean money now. Yeah, that's the annoying part. It started out as dirty, dirty Chinese money, and now it's all clean, and we hate it.
Knew that this smelled of money laundering.
It smelled of money laundering. Well, Your Honor, the prosecution rests, and the defense has told me they're not even going to present a case. I mean, Jordan fades back, and that's the game.
I don't think all the banks knew about how many different LLCs the Bidens had created. So.
Yes, your bank doesn't know or give a fuck about any LLC that doesn't have an account at that fucking bank.
So I've made some pretty serious accusations yesterday.
Yes, you have. And you might as well have just farted into a balloon and had someone stick a pin in it.
Yesterday at a nationally televised press conference.
Oh, it was nationally televised. That is true. It was streamed. Well, it was on C-SPAN.
But I haven't heard one thing the White House has said to dispel anything that I said, other than they said.
Yeah, but again, that's how you treat a fart. You know what I mean? You don't have to rush over. If somebody farts in a building across town, you don't have to run over there with a hand fan and clear the air. You just wait till it dissipates or follows them home, which it has done in this case.
It was conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories, we showed bank statements. This is something.
Right. Conspiracy theories and conspiracies themselves do not entail the activities themselves. Building 7 fell down. That is not in dispute. And to say it fell down is not by any means a conspiracy theory. Why or who is behind it is the conspiracy part. Same thing here. Nobody gives a fuck that this money went to there. The conspiracy theory part is what you're using to glue these two events together and turn them into something they aren't. I don't know. The only answer I can come up with for why this dude is such a simpleton is, unfortunately, is Kentucky. And I'm from there, so it pains me to say that.
The press isn't used to, especially since Adam Schiff was leading investigations when the Democrats were in control. We actually have a thing called evidence now.
No, you don't. No, you don't. China and a picture of a dude attached to a picture of a dude attached to a picture of a logo pointing at Hunter Biden that's not evidence. If it is, then Glenn Beck should have called the blaze the evidence.
And the evidence was in the form of bank statements. So
no, that's not evidence. Those are details. It's evidence. Evidence would not be there's money. This guy paid this guy this money. That's not evidence. It is simply a transaction. It is evidence if you can tie it to a third detail, which is a fact, which would be that this policy changed or this favor was done in time with that thing that happened, specifically, not by the dates, not in general. And again, like the laptop hard drive has floated around more time. I mean, there have been more Republican hands on the hard drive that Rudy Giuliani is passing around than on Marjorie Taylor Greene's parts. And so it would never survive as evidence in court. Never, not ever, not gonna fucking ever. And anything you get from it, and you go, it brought me to this, the judge would go, well, how'd you get there? We got it from the hard drive. Well, the hard drive, Rudy Giuliani had that, and you can't even prove that shit's real. There's no metadata. So fuck that too. Like Rudy Giuliani is the single person who guaranteed that Hunter Biden will never see the inside of a jail cell for anything that's even remotely related to that hard drive, even if it was true, which it ain't. So let's just move on from there. But that ain't evidence. Evidence is this guy paid this guy, and then this guy killed this guy, who this guy said he was going to kill. You take out any one of those steps, and the jury will have a real hard time finding anything from that. If this guy doesn't give this guy money, but this guy kills this guy killed him, and this guy wanted him dead, where this guy's free and clear. If this guy gives this guy money, but he doesn't kill this guy, and the guy just dies, neither one of them killed him, then this guy's not going to go to jail for murder for hire. You get how it works? Racketeering requires an actual fucking racket.
when we say on national...
Look at this. 4-step plan to hide China-sourced payments. Again, while we're at it, if I may. Here's a 2-step process, motherfucker. NRA was the biggest donor to Republicans during the 2016 cycle. And Russia was the single biggest source of NRA money during the 2016 cycle. That's 2 fucking steps. Fuck your 4 steps. I cut it in half, dummy. I cut it in half. Ugh, just so stupid. It's so lazy. Where's my thing? Okay, this is it. Back here. Step 4. Like, literally, I was like, Russia gives NRA money, NRA gives GOP money. That's it. We're done. We didn't even have to. This is, if you're 3 steps away, you're done. Your fucking conspiracy falls apart. By the 4th step, I got news for you. Between here and here, this is step 1, step 2 in a money laundering or a payoff scheme. That's when you get somebody convicted. That's Chicago alderman shit. As a proud son of Chicago, I'm here to tell you that's something they know a lot about, right? And it was a 2-step process. Here's the money. I want that. Cool. That's how it worked. I guess, yes, Hal Sparks could save you 50% on flashcards. You do that in front of a jury, step 1, step 2, you're good. You move into step 3, you're talking about 7 hours of deliberation on the first day, 6 hours on the next day. The judge lets them come back after the weekend, hung jury. You move into the 4th step, they're going to go tell you to fuck yourself. Meanwhile, Russia gave the NRA money. The NRA was the single biggest donor to Republican candidates during the 2016 cycle. Seriously.
The national audience that the Bidens created 20 companies that serve no purpose other than to launder money.
That's, by the way, a matter of his opinion. That is an accusation that arguably in the world of, if anybody had pushback, that would be slanderous. But in reality, he gets to say that because he'll never get any pushback from Maria Bartiromo. What evidence do you have that any of these LLCs were strictly money laundering things, as opposed to ways to limit liability in business dealings? Because that's what an LLC is for. You want to start and if you don't believe me, here's the big question. Hold on one second. Let's see the. Yeah. Here you go. Here's these are the single one. What Trump's disclosure of his 500 LLCs can and can't tell us. And by the way, that's just his. There are also the subsidiary ones from the Trump organization, which are up in the thousands. And every time that the kids came with a project, they just formed an LLC and just went after it. And if it fails, they just jettison the company. Okay. President Donald Trump's latest financial disclosure includes details on the 500 or fucking so limited liability companies he owns and their revenue. But what exactly is an LLC, and does disclosing the numbers provide more or less information about Trump's business? An LLC is a type of company structure with 2 special properties, explained Gene Marks, a certified public accountant. First, income can pass through the LLC to the owner's individual tax returns, which means that business gets taxed at the individual's personal income tax rate, which in many cases could be lower. Second, if the company goes out of business, the partner's losses are generally limited to what they invested. You lose your shirt, but for whatever reason, other investors can't come after your slice of the pie. We all have limited liability in our go-together. If the partnership is sued, in most cases, a plaintiff can't come after the partner's individual assets, their stuff outside the company. They can come for anything they invested in the company, but not their houses and cars and boats and shit like that. Trump uses a bevy of LLCs to house and manage his assets, as many wealthy individuals and businesses do, particularly in real estate. The Mar-a-Lago resort is owned by Trump under an LLC structure. So are his golf courses, licensing deals, one of his helicopters, and some of his bank accounts, which is really fucking weird. This is really hinky. I get the helicopter. I get it. Because they're expensive and the maintenance of them and blah, 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 and leaving that on your books as an asset or a liability in any of your businesses might affect that business's ability to borrow money because, like, aircraft are a huge suck of resources. But if you separated it out and you could tax it at a lower level, and then maybe you could rent it out to other people, if people want to fly around in your Trump copter, and you can charge them for it, the money that comes in on it would be spent on that one company, and any leftover money you could take as profit at your individual tax rate, which in his particular case, he drives down to zero or less than zero all the time. But reviewing a spreadsheet of the names that they and some of his bank accounts, the fact that his bank accounts are simply LLC bank accounts. This is exactly what Comer is talking about when he's talking about like hinky. It's not even about like remember when he said the banks don't even know about the other LLCs? They never would. That doesn't make any fucking sense to anybody who's read anything ever that didn't come with crayons. But in this particular instance, the fact that Trump has bank accounts that are under LLCs without anything else, they're just in the business of being a bank account, or a shared bank account, more than likely, with some sketchy folks, which allows them to put money in there and look the other way if it's taken out, is really the most questionable part. Let's just say that Trump has an LLC with a ghost LLC that doesn't have to list who the members are, but they have a bank account. And each individual can list that bank account themselves, but it doesn't overlap with who else is on there. The LLC owns that bank account. Andre Durkash or Vladimir Putin's second cousin is on that bank account, can put $1 million into it and doesn't care who takes it out, who spends it. That's why you would set up an LLC on a single bank account like that. That's not even money laundering. That's just passing around dirty fucking money. And that amazes me. That part right there. Let me check this right. Hold on one second. Oops, scroll down here. This part. The Mar-a-Lago resort is owned by Trump under an LLC structure. So are his golf courses, licensing deals, helicopters, and some of his bank accounts. Super fucking weird. Okay. But reviewing a spreadsheet of the names and the income stream of his LLCs doesn't actually shine light on the president's overall financial situation, because we don't get to see how much actually ended up in his bank account at the end of the day. If he's not using his personal income tax returns, we're never going to know how much he's making or not making. And that's the thing. He's not making anywhere near what he says. And when he does make like little splash amounts of cash, it's from hinky sources. More than half of the LLCs Trump reported to the Federal Election Commission are also registered in Delaware, which is it's the incorporation state because there's no income tax, which doesn't require LLCs to publish any financial information or disclose the owner's identity. That's Biden's state, by the way. So does not look at that. You do not have to disclose the owner's identity of an LLC that's only gig is to maintain a bank account. And Trump has multiple versions of that. As The Guardian reported in 2016, registering an LLC in Delaware isn't itself unusual. Many Fortune 500 companies do so. Absolutely true. 2015 report by Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, a nonprofit, nonpartisan tax policy think tank, said Delaware's tax code made it, quote, a magnet for people looking to create anonymous shell companies, which individuals and corporations can use to evade an inestimable amount in federal and foreign taxes. And by the way, if you do... what is it? It's not Zoom. Is it the LegalZoom? LegalZoom, most of the time, they default to setting up your corporation in Delaware for that very same reason. You can choose to do it anywhere else if you want to. Citizens United would have no impact on any of this stuff. And especially like the NRA Russian money or whatever. There's different, like, they already admitted that they had a bunch of shit coming back. Hold on, where are we? Oop, now I'm losing these dummies. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this out.
That's a pretty serious accusation, Maria.
Yeah, but it's meaningless fart air.
And not a word from the White House, not a word.
That's because they don't take you seriously, because it's a waste of time. When you come up with something that looks like evidence that they have to respond to, they will. Up till that point, why the fuck would they give you the time of day? It's embarrassing. It's a waste of time. They have real shit to do. the embarrassing part of this whole thing isn't that the Bidens are so scared that they won't even respond to this stuff because the accusations are driving crazy. The embarrassing part should be on your part, where you're like, these motherfuckers know I'm not serious.
Heard from the mainstream media in pressing the White House to determine whether that's true or not. So, what the Bidens need to tell the American people is
how and under what precise conditions should James Comer go fuck himself? How much lube and for how long?
Exactly what those 20 companies did. What did they produce?
No, not at all. And again, this is so fucking weird coming from a Republican. This, never mind the DeSantis attacks on Disney, which is just fucking weird. But the fact that now Republicans, if that's the rule now, if that's the standard, then I want to know what every single one of Trump's LLCs did, especially the one that gave him, specifically the one that gave him $17 million in his first year in office while he was in China, while he later on, I think, she's doing a very professional job, and I don't, and we've got a very good trade deal, and we're playing fair, and I'm using some of the money to give it to our farmers. It's like China gave Trump money through the bullshit tariff war, which was all a game to them, so that he could buy farm votes and stay in office. That's what it looks like. You want to talk about racketeering? That works for me. The Chinese tariffs that Trump put in were really just a way of China manipulating their currency, paying extra money to keep somebody who wasn't Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton out of office next time around, who would really come in and kick their ass, because the Chips and Science Act and the AUKUS agreement and the renewal of the Quad are real fuck yous to the Chinese government, to the CCP specifically, and Trump wasn't going anywhere near any of that shit.
What services did they offer? And what we're going to do
is make everybody in the Republican caucus who has an LLC release a breakdown of what that LLC does specifically, how much money it has coming in and out of it, so that people know we're doing this with a clear I'm sorry. I'm getting there's a lot of screaming, Maria. I'm hearing a lot of screaming in my that's from the hallway. That's all my Republican colleagues. Keep it down over there.
Moving forward in this investigation, Maria, is we're going to demand that the Biden family provide invoices or evidence that they...
No. They by no means have to do that. Are you out of your fucking mind? Again, this is a Republican saying this. Can you imagine this becoming the norm? Just in general, government employees, a committee in the House or the Senate gets to all of a sudden roll up on your private LLC and demand invoices with no evidence that you have committed a crime. They've circumvented the DOJ entirely, moved the FBI out of the way, everybody. They haven't found anything, but we want you to prove to us in the House, your paperwork might be fine. The state, by the way, these LLCs are state corporations, so the incorporation laws of the state being overrun by the federal government. It's fucking, this is mind-boggling that this is Republicans arguing this, because I'm here to tell you, they're talking about how, once Trump got indicted, the fucking gloves are off, we're coming after Biden, and it's just going to be tit for tat forever and ever and ever. I got news for you, fucko. The minute you guys open this shit up, who's sweating this shit the most? Trump. Because if they put teeth to this and they find some way to force the Biden family to give invoices to show to prove that they're doing legal business, to basically violate their Fifth Amendment rights by force, or to operate under the they have to operate their business under the cloud of Congress saying they are not a legitimate entity until they prove to Congress that they are, which is fucked up too. Talk about the individual privacy rights and all the kinds of shit that these assholes used to give a shit about, used to pretend to care about anyways. You don't think Democrats aren't going to go, all right, well, obviously there's 500 LLCs that Trump has. We're going to need invoices from every single one of those companies that prove, so that we can tie them to what they actually do. We need to know that all those bank accounts, we're going to need to know who, is engaged in that. Is anybody, who are the partners in each of these LLCs? What do they do? Are you out of your fucking mind? And the fact that these guys want the federal government to have the right to do that. Again, I got news for you. I'm not a fan of like anonymous LLCs, especially in the real estate market. Fuck that. But that's my opinion. These guys are the ones who are for that shit. And now they're all like, they want to crawl up in his keister about that stuff. This is so stupid. It's so dumb.
Actually did provide services or sell something or manufacture or do something like a normal business to receive that money. If they can't do that, then obviously
they don't have a responsibility to do that. And by the way, if you're going to ask that of every Delaware corporation, goodbye laws of incorporation in the United States. This is so lazy.
all eyes are on Joe Biden.
No, they're not. They're on you, motherfucker. You are the investigating party. You have to come up with the crime. If you can't find one and you want to do Whitewater Part fucking 2, I got news for you. Biden's not having an affair. You're fucked. You're going to be chasing this bullshit forever. This is not going to be Clinton 2.0. He's much closer to fucking Carter this time around. I'm sorry. You're just not going to find it. There is no Monica Lewinsky at the end of this fucking Whitewater rainbow.
Because why else would foreign nationals be wiring money to his nieces, nephews, and grand?
They're not. The guy you're talking about is an American citizen.
Child, were it not for things that Joe Biden was doing that would.
Because they do shit, dummy. Also, again, make up your fucking mind. Is Biden a doddering old fool or the godfather mastermind of a criminal empire with his tentacles in every business?
Provide a return on the investment.
Yeah, I saw that one of the recipients was his 2-year-old granddaughter. Is that right? Why would his?
No, I don't. It wasn't the one in Arkansas. I can tell you that.
Okay.
But it was one. It was one of the grandchildren.
One of the.
Because Hunter Biden gave some of his money from his salary to his niece. Why is that? It's just so fucking weird. It really is weird. And maybe these people just have like carcasses of, for families, like no human connections, no real relationships, no trust in their families, none of that stuff. So that every other family that like goes fucking camping together, it looks like the mob. They're like, well, they all got in the car and went to the same place at the same time. And I did not see them at Applebee's.
Grandchildren who received money. And we're trying to understand what this money was for. Can you connect the dots to tell us about some of the decisions that Joe Biden made as vice?
Yes, this would be key. Yeah, do that. What were the decisions that were made so that his granddaughter could get money from her uncle who got it from a guy he was in business with, who allegedly got it from a Chinese national?
President, which would warrant.
Also, Steve Bannon's entire funding for the War Room came from a Chinese national.
Him getting paid, and obviously he's getting paid personally after making decisions on behalf of America. When I spoke with you in the...
No, hold on. You can't just ask him the question, answer it yourself as if it was answered.
Biden made as vice president, which would warrant him getting paid, and obviously he's getting paid personally after making decisions on behalf of America. When I spoke with you in the past, I raised this very concerning issue of Joe Biden, when he was vice president back in 2013, signed a memorandum of understanding to allow hundreds of Chinese companies to enter and raise huge amounts of money in our capital markets without complying with federal securities laws. And I asked you if that was one of the 6 decisions that you were investigating.
He was the vice fucking president. Hold on. Run this by me again.
Raise huge amounts to allow hundreds. Vice president back in 2013 signed a memorandum of understanding.
Okay, hold on one second. May 24th. This would be... Oh, God. When they make it this easy, then why can you make my job somewhat challenging, Maria? You lazy tool. Well, here. This is from Lexology. This is the U.S. and Chinese regulators sign a historic memorandum of understanding regarding enforcement cooperation. China USA. On May 24th, 2013, the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, the PCAOB, announced a breakthrough in its years-long logjam with Chinese regulators over access to audit firms' documents located in China. The long-term impact of the agreement is unclear, but it represents a small step towards more consistent and collaborative assistance between the United States and China with respect to securities enforcement. God damn. In recent years, and in the wake of a large number of alleged accounting irregularities and fraud at China-based U.S.-listed companies, the PCAOB and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, have aggressively sought to obtain financial records and audit papers from those companies and their auditors. Although the documents and other foreign companies, Chinese data secrecy laws have proven an obstacle to U.S. regulators' requests. Many Chinese companies have reportedly refused to provide documents to U.S. regulators on the basis that doing so might violate Chinese data secrecy provisions. Likewise, and on the same ground, the Chinese affiliates of U.S.-based auditing firms have resisted investigative subpoenas from the SEC and have refused to hand over audit work papers for PCAOB inspections. This MOU, this Memorandum of Understanding between the PCAOB and the Chinese regulator provides increased access. Although only recently made public in early May, the PCAOB and China's primary securities regulators, the Chinese Securities Regulatory Commission, and the Ministry of Finance on China, meaning Biden and Obama had to both fucking sign this, executed a Memorandum of Understanding on Enforcement Cooperation. As summarized below, while relatively narrow, the MOU signals that discussions among the two sets of regulators are moving toward greater accessibility. Oop, and let's see, browsers, where is it? Their link is dead. Generally, that only covers audit firms. Authorities can still deny requests. Information can be shared with the SEC and other U.S. regulators. Chinese authorities will receive advance notice of any information sharing or PCAOB sanctions. No legal obligation or private rights are created. Immediate and potential impact. With the MOU in place, the PCAOB's investigation of Chinese auditors of U.S.-listed companies will presumably promptly increase, commensurate with PCAOB's increased access to Chinese-based audit papers. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It hurts.
To allow, when he was vice president, I raised this very concerning issue of Joe Biden, when he was vice president back in 2013, signed a memorandum of understanding.
Which, by the way, the entire SEC board did as well. The Securities and Exchange Commission negotiated the elements of this. They had to, you fucking moron.
To allow hundreds of Chinese companies.
Here's one. How about the fact that Ivanka's trademarks and got pushed through while Trump was president, and all of her products avoided tariffs.
To enter and raise huge amounts of money in our capital markets.
Because of the increased scrutiny. Because it increased scrutiny. God damn.
Without complying with federal securities laws. And I asked you if that was one of the 6 decisions that you were investigating in terms of one of the reasons that Joe Biden was paid.
Yeah, yes. All right. Why didn't they pay Obama and everyone at the SEC? It wasn't his singular decision. What did they think? What was he, a fucking holdout?
Is it? And what other things
No, it wasn't. I'll answer. Asked and answered. This is just ridiculous.
What did he do in terms of decisions, policy decisions?
Yes. Give us actual policy decisions. Obviously, the one Maria just gave us was ass, but
That you believe could have been the
well, that's pretty broad. That you believe could have been.
reason for payback.
Well, you're absolutely right, Maria. That is one of the main decisions. There's no explanation for it.
Yes, there is. And the biggest one being that everyone else involved in it in the administration signed it as well. Does anybody think that these, and by the way, they don't post, if it's different from what she's talking about, you know, the one I just looked at, which I don't believe it is, because that's the same, that's what she's talking about. That's the moment. That's what they're talking about. At what point, he doesn't have singular power over that at all. And he certainly wasn't the holdout on it in particular. There was no reason to believe, because it was to increase scrutiny of U.S. companies that were doing business in China, needed scrutiny of their partners over there because they didn't trust them. And Chinese companies who want to be listed on the through the Security and Exchange Commission and on the Dow and the like, we needed to audit what the fuck was going on with them.
You put China first and American publicly traded companies last.
Again, the fuck are you talking about? This literally helped U.S. companies that were doing business in China have a better look at auditing and making sure the companies they were working with over there were legit.
Why else would you do that? Remember,
because business and reality and humanity and normalcy. What the shit?
Joe Biden said during the presidential campaign that his family never received a penny from China. We proved that was a big, fat lie yesterday. So,
yeah, I don't recall the direct quote, my family hasn't received a penny from China. And by the way, you could argue, if you want to talk in Clinton terms about, depends on what your definition of is, or what sexual relations means, that if a Chinese national gives Hunter Biden some money and to invest, and he invests that money, and the Chinese national makes money on their investment because he puts it in, companies that make money, and then he takes a fee or a percentage of whatever the wins are, he's still not getting money from that Chinese national. He's getting money from the success of those investments. I don't even consider that, threading a needle and getting around shit. That's just true. That guy's not paying him. They might have gotten a fee for the investment, but most of the time in those Rosemont Seneca deals, according to the stuff that they put out that are allegedly from the laptop, that stuff, they were just getting a percentage of whatever you made. Same thing with the mayor of Moscow's wife. The $3 million she gave them was to invest. They got to keep some of the money if the investments made money.
So there's a money trail that would lead from China to the Biden bank accounts. And
dude, there's a money trail that's one check long that leads from the Chinese Communist Party to Donald Trump's bank account. One step. One.
And that would go a long way in explaining why he would do something like that.
Yeah, then why did everybody else do it? Did everybody get paid? Is everybody getting paid off? Everybody at the Security and Exchange Commission, they all got, what are they all suckers? They're all suckers, but they had to pay Biden. Biden's like, these guys are idiots for signing this thing. I'm only going to sign it if you pay me. What the fuck? Ugh.
So detrimental to American publicly traded companies.
How? That's the other thing too. This is Comer talking about business like he fucking knows. Yeah, like any investment brokerage, exactly. This is so dumb.
You also look at some decisions that he made while he was vice president with respect to foreign aid. And
okay, with respect to foreign aid, the vice president. Now, or I should say, who of the big who? It'd be a giant who. What body of the federal government actually signs off on the amount of aid that goes to a country? I'll give you a hint. It's where this motherfucker works and where he didn't work at the time.
Remember, we only talked about 2 countries yesterday.
Right, and neither one of them were impressive. Seriously, Biden is skull-fucking China right now. The CHIPS Act, the AUKUS agreement, the Quad, Japan's adding that. We gave like quiet sub technology to Australia so they could build nuclear silent subs to patrol the South China Seas. Shut the fuck up. Not impressed. And Romania? What? Show me the scandal. Show me the scandal of, oh my God, the amount of foreign aid we were suddenly dumping on Romania that Joe Biden added a fucking 0. Oy.
There are many more countries.
Yes, there are throughout the world. I've noticed that. I looked at a globe the other day and I was like, wow.
And what I said to people about the Bidens and where they were influence peddling, China was probably the most reputable country they were dealing in.
At the time, anyways. I guess they went sideways while Trump was in office.
Wow. This is how bad some of these countries like Romania were, that they were influence peddling in. And the one thing that Joe Biden had,
Jesus Christ, like this is, they're having to go. Romania just busted Andrew Tate. Like most people who aren't, misogynistic scumbags are kind of applauding Romania a little bit right now.
in common with these very shady countries?
These very shady countries, the kind of countries that would allow somebody like Andrew Tate to park his Lamborghini there until they arrest him for human trafficking and try him. I just don't, Romania is our, China's not even our number one. I'm putting Romania up as our number one enemy of America right now.
That they were influence peddling in is he was taking a lead in things like foreign aid.
Again, what the fuck do you mean taking a lead? The Congress dictates the actual dollar amount that goes into foreign aid. The vice president doesn't have a line item veto or can add a fucking zero to foreign aid. It's goddamn. It's so lazy.
In major policy decisions.
Again, he can have his say. That doesn't mean they're agreeing with him. He wanted to get out of Afghanistan while he was there.
That the Obama administration was making with these countries. So, there's a lot more to come.
Again, the Obama administration might have put forward a budget of how much money they wanted to go in terms of foreign aid to certain countries, but the Congress signed off on it. Republicans and Democrats alike voted for these things. If you weren't spotting some sort of like, what's this big gigantic check to fucking Romania? Why are they getting more than Africa combined for ice cream? How come why are we sending giant shipments of ice cream to Romania? I think this is a kickback of dairy. This is probably, track this boat. Make sure it doesn't dock in fucking Delaware.
Gave an update to the American people yesterday, and I think at the end of the day, we proved that Joe Biden hasn't been truthful about his family.
No, you haven't. You haven't at all. You have to try way harder. Especially when we're dealing with this shit and this shit. And this shit. Just fucking work. Do some goddamn work. Oy, they're
families'
lazy.
Income streams. We proved that the Biden family don't have a single legitimate business.
No, you haven't. And by the way, anybody who thinks that being an investor or investment management or whatever isn't a legitimate business, I'm not going to argue with you too much. It's a little. It always seems sketchy. Hedge funds are the same way to me. I'm always amazed at the amount of money that goes through those things, and I guess having a shepherd for your money at some point at that level is a very lucrative thing, and having a trustworthy one is an even bigger thing. But as far as, do I consider that work? Not really. It's sweat work maybe, but only by, your brow, not by your body.
Business was taking money from our adversaries around the world, and
$2017, $17 million, one night. Next morning, $15 million was taken out of the account. You what now? You what now? Ugh. But hey, I have seen a bunch of people see this stuff float around and almost tiptoe around it like there might be something there. A lot of people who are allegedly, I mean, you go far enough left, they want it to be true, so they're buying into it. I mean, Jimmy Dore is basically all in on Comer's sales pitch. But it, like, from the center left to the far right, that crowd, they're like, this all is real. This is happening and it's criminal. And even the people who are like, I think they should show something. I'm not really convinced, are still like, maybe it's bad. They're still in that where there's smoke, there's fire zone. I'm telling you, it's fucking steam. There's no fire. It's fucking steam. Also, there's no Hunter Biden laptop. Feel free to at me.
We identified 9 of the Biden family members who were in on the gig.
Unbelievable.
Who are unbelievable. It's a good word to use there, Maria, because it sums up my entire attitude towards this steaming pile of cow dung.
Unbelievable. And, we also questioned the China initiative, and that's when he was president, when he was.
We also question the China initiative.
Walked into the White House, one of the first things he did was cancel the China initiative, which of course was an initiative that the FBI was arresting people who were sending information, intellectual property to China. But Congressman, you need a...
Yes, and then formed the biggest, hold on, because it was inadequate to the job. They broke it down because it didn't do the fucking gig. Hold on one second. And you guys remember when the Chinese police departments that were setting up shop in the United States were busted during Trump? Me neither, because they weren't. They ran uninterrupted the entirety of the Trump presidency. They've been shut down under Biden, which I suppose China paid him to fuck up their spy network. Is that what the money was for? Okay. Hold on, let's see. This is... Hold on one second. This is the Politico article on it. This is what they're talking about, by the way. Whoops, there we go. This is Politico on this. DOJ shuts down China-focused anti-espionage program. The China initiative is being cast aside largely because of perceptions that it unfairly painted Chinese Americans and U.S. residents of Chinese origin as disloyal. The Biden administration is shutting down a Justice Department program that focused on countering Chinese espionage following stumbles in a series of criminal cases and accusations that it amounted to racial profiling. Officials said Wednesday that the 3-year-old effort, known as the China Initiative, was being cast aside largely because of perceptions that it unfairly painted Chinese Americans and U.S. residents of Chinese origin as disloyal. By grouping cases under the China Initiative rubric, we helped give rise to a harmful perception that the department applies a lower standard to investigate. There you go. That the department applies a lower standard to investigate and prosecute criminal conduct related to that country, or that we in some way view people with racial, ethnic, or familial ties to China differently. None of this affected the U.S. government or the DOJ's ability to go after spies. They just didn't name it. Now, the other thing is that if you do have spies and they're competent at all, whoops, hold on, let me scoot back here. We're never even going to get out of here. I don't need Glenn Beck today. No one does. Where are you? Yeah, here we go. That in this, naming it the China Initiative doesn't change the material ability to do work on behalf of the federal government. They don't stop looking at Chinese spies just because they don't have a folder that's publicly viewable. Title 42? Title 42 we'll talk about in a minute. I'm going to end the show with a short diatribe on Title 42 because we're about to finish this video, and that's been our show because I have a lot to say on this particular topic, as it were.
I think people saw that loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Willing partner in this in the DOJ, and you don't have it. The FBI is refusing to hand over that document that you subpoenaed. It allegedly proves that President Biden was involved in an illegal bribery scheme with a foreign national.
Yes, the problem with that illegal bribery scheme allegation is that they didn't get anything for it. Didn't we all do the big lesson in quid pro quo during the fucking Trump years? Didn't we all learn that? Because there was plenty of quid pro quo with Trump. And he was like, there's no quid pro quo there. There was no quid pro ro. Squid pro ro.
Again, the words are conditions.
Yes, right. So you have to prove that they got something for their money. Now, you could say they attempted to bribe somebody, but that person, if they just think it's like if you give some money to somebody's charity, for example, and then they mysteriously do something for your benefit that legally they wouldn't do normally, that would be a bribery of sorts, especially if you're the sole proprietor of that charity, like, I don't know, Eric Trump, and you siphon off a bunch of money that was supposed to go to sick kids for yourself because as salary and expenses when everything was donated, for example. That kind of shit, there's a case to be made that counts as a form of bribery. If they give some money to your charity, and you don't do anything to their benefit, there could be two reasons why they give that money to your charity. One is they gave the money to your charity because they thought you would. That's how they normally operate. They give money to people's charities like the Trumps all the time. And when you do that, those folks do you favors. It's what the Chinese will call guanxi. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of stuff. But the other reason they could do it, and this is just as common these days, is so that your opponents can say that those bad people gave them money. They put money, this person put money in their charity. They allow themselves to be a punching bag to undermine the character of someone that's on the opposite side. If they can't manipulate that person, they can possibly get them out of office by using their own stink as a weapon.
A letter to you, the agency writes this. It wants to, quote, avoid revealing information, including unverified or incomplete information.
Yeah, they're not gonna give you another Hillary Clinton bullshit email statement that you can use to attack the president going into a cycle. They're not gonna do it anymore. Lesson learned, fuck off.
That could harm investigations,
yeah, that seems like adult shit.
unfairly violate privacy or
unfairly violate privacy. There's no way you can't violate Hunter Biden's privacy. The public has a right to know that he smokes in the bathtub.
create misimpressions in the public.
But that's Comer's job. That's his entire gig. Create misimpressions in public is indeed the entire purpose of the Hunter Biden laptop story.
What are you going to do now?
He's going to shove his thumb up his ass and check to see which way the wind is blowing.
Well, we've got a plan B. Unfortunately, Senator Grassley and I...
We've got a plan B. Wait, this was plan A?
feared that the FBI would continue to cover this up.
Yeah, no. They get to investigate for real. And they don't have to give you half measures so that you can portray someone as guilty based on half evidence in the court of public opinion when you're using it as a political weapon, ever. They don't ever have to do that. And I don't think the DOJ, towards the Republican side or the Democratic side, either way, should ever do that.
Not only did we ask for a copy of the form, we also asked what exactly...
You can ask for whatever you want.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the Air Force.
That's right. Not since the Ass Force have we had someone ask for this much.
Exactly they did to verify whether that claim was accurate or not, because we know there's a form, okay? There's no question there was a form, and the FBI did...
Yes, there are forms about suspicious amounts of money changing hands, because after 9/11, anything over 10 grand automatically triggers one of those. Automatically. You know what's really fucking hinky? Besides the fact that these assholes don't look at millions of dollars that Trump received while in office from foreign nationals directly into his bank account, person to him, one step. Never mind the fact they won't look at that, is that they refuse to look into the truly hinky shit, which is all the $9,999 monetary exchanges that went through the NRA and other groups into Republican coffers during the election cycle to stay below that 10,000 number. Or the magical super PAC. Let's find this. Hold on. I don't know how to even like describe this fucking thing. Means let's see. Yeah. Oh wait, here it is. Hold on. NBC in a move. Let's try to do this. There you go. NBC Mystery $1 million Romney donor revealed. NBC, in a move aimed at tamping down on mounting controversy over secret money in presidential politics, a political committee backing Mitt Romney Saturday publicly identified a former Bain Capital managing director as the source of a mysterious $1 million contribution to its coffers. In a move aimed at Restore Our Future, the pro-Romney committee said that Edward Conard, what a canard, who was for years associated with Bain Capital, the company that, by the way, drove Stephanie Miller off of radio in Los Angeles by buying up her station and converting it to the Patriot or whatever the fuck it is. The huge investment firm that Romney once headed was the figure behind an obscure company called WSPAN LLC that was listed as donating $1 million to the group last spring. Conard has continued to list his affiliation with Bain Capital when making sizable campaign contributions in recent years, even though a Bain Capital spokesman said he retired from the firm in 2007. The disclosure of Conard's identity, first reported by Politico, would appear to solve a Washington mystery that has swirled for days after NBC News reported this week on the murky origins of WSPAN LLC. The company was formed in Delaware in March, made its contribution in April, and then dissolved in July. Let me read that again. This was during the Romney campaign. The company was formed in Delaware in March, made its contribution in April, and then dissolved in July. He passed $1 million into Romney's super PAC through this company that lasted a full 90 days, leaving no paper trail as to who its owners were or even where it was located. But campaign watchdog group says Saturday they will continue to press for a Justice Department investigation into the contribution, saying that unless such a probe is conducted, it will open the door for other donors to conceal their campaign contributions through shadowy pop-up corporate fronts. Yeah, but exactly. But the fucking laptop. Oh, but my laptop. But my laptop is in my laptoping. Jesus Christ. And again, I'm glad we're covering all of this garbage. Like, this is, you're not going to find a breakdown this thorough anywhere else. You're welcome. I know I went long tonight, but it was worth it. I know with this one clip, fucking 2 hours.
Deny that they had the form, which was the one smart thing the FBI didn't do. The question that we had for the FBI is, what have you done to investigate this? So obviously,
No. They don't have a responsibility to investigate anything just on your whim. They have to have some sort of premise that an actual crime is being committed or was committed. They have to have like evidence or some like general notion that it actually was a crime. Not you fucking hate him. That's not enough.
They continue a pattern of protecting the Bidens, not talking about the Biden.
Yeah, you were happy when they talked about Hillary Clinton. You hated when they talked about Trump. I'm seeing a trend.
And we're going to move forward with Plan B. And it's unfortunate that we have to do this.
Wait a minute. You're going to take the abortion pill? You're aborting your efforts this late? I think this violates your 3-week or 6-week rule.
Fortunate that neither Senator Grassley nor I have 1 ounce of confidence in the leadership of the FBI right now.
Well, imagine how they feel about you.
Or the DOJ, but we're going to move forward. They're not going to obstruct our investigation of corruption in this White House, and we're going to continue to press and get answers and provide the American people with the facts.
Congressman, what?
Again, facts are not evidence. Facts are simply facts. If you have facts that are evidence of a crime, you have to make that distinction. He doesn't. He'll use the terms, interspersed throughout the whole conversation, when in reality what he means is details. He's taking details that exist and overlaying his opinion about the criminality of the Bidens for the fuck of it, without any evidence that proves it. Like even beyond, like, from a business standpoint, the amount of just like normal shit that they're like, which they would never do with Trump, which is fucking weird. It's just I find it aggravating, as you can tell.
It's Plan B.
Yeah. What? No, he said that is Plan B. Plan B is continuing to press.
Well, stay tuned, Maria. You'll be the first person that'll know. I can assure you. But it's
Oh, you don't have a Plan B. Seriously, I was getting a big Plan D whiff off of this.
We assumed the FBI would continue this pattern of behavior of...
You mean of following the law and not handing over in the middle of an investigation stuff that pertains to stuff, or just giving you details you don't have the right to have, or you would get them through another source? Again, even this suspicious activities reports through the banks, Congress can get those. They went to Treasury and looked at some of these things. What the fuck did they need them in the FBI for? And if there's a pro-Trumpy in the FBI that wrote a memo and said, we ought to go after these fuckers because Q told me, and they want that as evidence that the FBI is somehow sitting on a reality. It's just like, it's boring. Boring.
Acting independently. I mean, this is an example of the deep state.
We're gonna have to do deep state bingo at some point, which sounds filthy. Adding that to my Pornhub searches.
And the fourth branch of government. There's supposed to be 3 branches: the executive, legislative, and judicial. But what's happened in the last decade is there's a 4th branch, and it's the government bureaucracy.
No. Just because you have to fill out forms and do your fucking job doesn't mean that's a 4th branch. We have laws. The Constitution itself is what he's talking about. That's what he's griping about. He's griping about the Constitution. The fact that all 3 of those branches are tied to constitutionality, that aggravates him. And that anybody brings it up that isn't a political opponent, that's simply somebody who goes, no, legally you can't do that. That's pretty clear. No, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. That you can't do that. That's what he's talking about. That's what they gripe the most about, because they're the ones who are trying to violate the Constitution non-fucking stop. Meanwhile, they think Democrats are violating the Constitution because, you can't coordinate a murder on Twitter.
And they have no checks and balances. And we have to do something about it.
Yeah, they do. You're on the oversight committee, dumb fuck. If you were doing your actual job, you would see that.
Senators don't stick with us this fall when we reappropriate the funds for the next 12 months, then there's going to be a lot of problems here in Congress. We've got to hold the DOJ accountable. We've got to do it with the power of the purse this fall.
And by that, he means this is what this is all about. This is all about cutting funds to the DOJ so they can't go after Trump. The idea is that they can't be trusted because they won't go after Biden. Therefore, we have to cut funds so that they will stop the actual investigations, that they have actual evidence of actual crimes against someone in the case of Donald Trump. That's what this is about. The whole fucking thing is a big, You want to talk about smoke? That's the smoke.
We are able to renegotiate the budget for the next 12
Unbelievable.
months.
Some of
Yes, it is totally unbelievable. You're absolutely right, Maria. It's bullshit is the word you want to say.
the most serious allegations ever leveled at a sitting president.
Nonsense. Just first of all, let's just go beyond the fact that every president gets horrifying allegations leveled against them. Let's go into Abu fucking Ghraib and the Bush White House being okay with torture. Shut the fuck up. This isn't even close. You're going to talk about like Romanian foreign aid was somehow dictated by the vice president because somebody who worked over there was in business with somebody in another country that worked with John Kerry's son. Like, of course, every president, for fuck's sake, there are multiple rape allegations against Donald Trump. This doesn't even fucking chart. And again, this boils down to, what did China get in exchange for whatever money they say Biden got? What did they get? What preferential treatment? Because right now, China is in its worst position vis-a-vis the U.S. government than it has ever been in. The Biden White House is doing stuff that makes Josh Hawley blush. So there are only two possibilities. One is that they didn't give him the money and this is bullshit, or they attempted to give him the money and it didn't pay off. The other one is that Biden got paid by the Chinese, all the money they're talking about. They gave him $1 billion fucking dollars and he's got it stashed away somewhere so he can spend it when he's 90. And in exchange, he set their entire economy back a decade. That literally is the only two possible outcomes. There's no third version of this. And again, when you've got somebody like Trump who, got in 2017 when he was president of the United States, millions of dollars goes into his fucking account and he takes that money out. In and of itself is fucking amazing. Like, that is the idea that hold on, let's see. God, where is that? Why would you silly thing? This weird. One of my windows is just gone. Pop back up, you silly thing. Okay, close it. And then open it again. There we go. I was trying to do something for you guys before I leave because I feel like we've had like a very unfair night for Kentucky. I think Comer's been giving Kentucky a bad fucking rap, man. Look, I know. Let me tell you what. I know a thing or two about evidence. All right, I have represented myself in court, buck naked. And by the way. Some people will call that court nudity. I call it Exhibit A. And when they say please rise, trust me, I do. But the problem I have is that I'm from the holler. All right, I'm from the fucking holler. And you know why we call it the holler? Because it gets awful dark and scary out there, and it'll make you holler. And if you're having a good time, you gonna holler. Woo-hoo! Come on now. There's a lot to holler about in the holler. But I'll tell you one goddamn thing. This dumbass, highfalutin lawyer type with his fucking barbershop quartet tie on and his fireplug head gonna tell us all he got evidence of something when they don't have it. You know what this boy smells like to me? You know what you seem like to me there, son? You seem like a revenuer. R-E-V apostrophe N-U-E-R, revenuer. And that dog won't hunt. I'm going to tell you what. But as he's up here talking out of the side of his neck, jumping through his shirt like he just discovered, fucking oil, like he's going to be the Beverly Hillbillies. And I got to say, I ain't fucking impressed at all. Roll in here and tell me this fucking story, man. You better have some fucking... Look, let me tell you a better story. Okay, so across the creek from where I grew up, it's a true story, by the way. We had a neighbor who grew a unconventional crop, let's just say, as a way of augmenting his lifestyle and making sure his farm payments were made on time to the bank. And one day he was harvesting, as you might imagine, and he had this giant bale of weed, man. He had rounded up. Fuck, that thing was like, it looked like he was dragging 2 dead bodies up the hill. He'd gone down there and harvested all the stuff. He was bringing up there. He's gonna shuck it and sell the leaves to the locals to make themselves a little less depressed. And he's dragging this shit up, and he's coming up his driveway, and he sees leaning against the back of his car one of the local church deacons, got a teetotaler, didn't even take a nip on Sunday. That feller was hardcore, and he was going to come down hard on him if he saw this weed as he's dragging this thing. He's dragging these bales up, and he's starting to sweat because he knows as soon as he gets up here, this guy's going to see it. You're going to ask him about it. If he dropped it right there, hey, what you dragging? It's going to be bad. He's going to call the fucking cops on him. So he just keeps dragging it up there, thinking and thinking and dragging and dragging and thinking. And he gets up close, and as soon as he gets within earshot of him, he goes, "Hey, have you checked your place?" And the deacon said, "What?" Because have you checked your place? I just found all this marijuana growing down on the riverbank down there. I think these kids are planting it everywhere, cutting it and selling it. And I'm afraid that if the feds or anybody see this shit or they find it, they're going to come after me. So I cut it all down. I'm fixing to burn it. You better go check your fucking property because I think that's what's going to happen. Well, the deacon turned white as a fucking sheet, hopped in his car and drove away. Didn't see him till the next Wednesday. And our friend stripped all the leaves off the things and then burnt a big pile of the stalks close to the road so that they could see it. They could see the smoke. Covered his ass. And that's that's the story I always tell when people say weed makes you stupid. The point I'm trying to make is this dude's got deacon written all over him. Not only is he a sanctimonious, holier than thou asshole, but he also is he's dumb enough to fall for something like that. So he makes, I got to tell you, man, I might have a smile that looks like a starry night. I might be able to eat corn through a picket fence. But this asshole gives us all a bad name. That's all I got to say about that. And and since we got to go, I'm gonna just say night to y'all. And oh shit, light went out. Something broke. People messing around. That probably means we lost another network. We got kicked off of Twitch, and now Hal probably set up a light for every one of the things. That's probably us losing Facebook. Probably just went away. That's fucking sad. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the morning show. And then I think Hal's doing a podcast right after that. He's got to finish up at 11. And then he's doing the show in the afternoon. Then we got the radio show. I'm going to make an appearance on that radio show sometime. I am. Especially if these Kentucky motherfuckers start coming out there giving us a bad name. Somebody's got to represent Pikeville. Goddamn. Anyways, y'all take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And, one more thing.
Moon River. De-engineering. I think people saw that loud and clear.
Piece of malware called QSnack.
Oh yeah, that's normal. They said, They said, Michigan gave us Motan. Michigan gave us Motan.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Michigan gave us Motan. When they gaze upon Yosemites, free health care for illegal.
I don't read, obviously.
Free health care for illegal. Action replays in magnified fortune. Action replays in magnified fortune. Here I am like an idiot. Action replays in magnified fortune. Here I am like an idiot. Here I am like an idiot. Somebody like that can write good. I was a private business people. Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes. What? Here I am like an idiot. You could say it's a back door, but I call it a smart door. Here I am like an idiot. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Christopher Columbus. Christopher. Here I am like an idiot.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Here I am like an idiot. They don't like the gas. Here I am like an idiot. The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
A ninth world country, not a third world country, a ninth world country.
Free health care for illegal. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill. He meant explosive in terms of fire. This isn't let's read the book school. They said, Michigan gave us Motan.
I had a beat off.
Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes. What? The numbers should skyrocket downward. I don't read, obviously. You know the expression? Christopher Columbus. Christopher, They don't like the gas. I've been involved in the two greatest scams in American history. Here I am like an idiot.